What's happening? How's everybody doing? Let me check my audio. Check my audio. Seems to be working. All right. How y'all doing? Let's do some shout outs. Where are y'all from? Where are y'all at? Do you recommend an inexpensive Class A amp? It depends on the amp. I frankly haven't heard a inexpensive Class A amp. I think at one time, Fozzy Audio made one. Todd T, what up? What's up, Todd T? Todd T, long time patron of the channel. Patrick Keller, hello. Another long time patron on Patreon. Brian Romska, howdy from Detroit. We got Canada, ooh, like the Predator. Afternoon, Savvy 4 Tech. Hello, CSK. Cutlass. Hi. My sister had a Cutlass Supreme. Merry Christmas to you, JD. Howdy from Little Rock. Really enjoy the channel. I lived for a month in a Hampton Inn in Little Rock. Not because I was homeless, because I sold a house that fell through, but I sold the house I was living in. So I had to live there for a month. Tonawanda, New York. Canada. Randy Bahia. France. What's up? I don't have a lot of French viewers. I think this is maybe the first time. France. Very good. Doing great. Awesome. Another New Yorker. Merry Christmas from Seattle. Lived in Tacoma. Hello, Ian. Great Britain. Very nice. New Jersey. Wow. Mine is a 71 Cutlass convertible. Oh, that's funny. Hers had T-tops. Sundara. Wakanda. Louis Vesey. I learned to drive in a gutless Cutlass Supreme from PEI, Canada. Very nice. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Very nice. Been there. Had an 85-ish Cutlass. Taught me how to replace valve cover gaskets. Very nice. Do I believe in love? Of course I believe in love. How about French Canadians? I have had a few French Canadians in here for sure. I know Sonos isn't cheap, but it isn't bad. Not at all. And it's so easy to use. We'd love to see you review the fucking amp I have owned for years. You can do it, Randy. You know, Sonos might be a cool thing to review. I'd have to buy it all, though, because there's no way Sonos is sending me anything. Season's greetings from Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada. Behave. Merry Christmas from Detroit. Look at that. 2 Detroitians. So what's on deck for speakers today, boss man? Now, I kind of wanted to do kind of like a follow-up on the best speaker video I did yesterday for 2023. If you guys thought I missed anything. If you people thought I missed anything. Sorry, can't say guys anymore. Thought I missed anything. Plus, it's another great way to get clicks because I put best speaker of 2023 in another title, which means other people may click on this video after it's done. What are your thoughts on DefTech? D15 floor standing speaker on clearance, $500 a pair. I have a pair of DefTechs. I use them as surround speakers upstairs. I think they're good. I think they're overpriced, but at $500 a pair, probably not overpriced. I don't know what the retail price was on there. The ones that I have an aluminum dome tweeter and are a bit spicy, but as surround speakers, I think they're great. They're small. Have a little, passive radiator on them. I like them. Here's a great question. Do you think you have learned and are learning how to hear better? Absolutely. 100%. I think I have. And I think anybody can train themselves to hear better. It's like, people go blind or lose their sight. They say their other senses get better. I think our other senses are already there. It's just we have to train our brain to work better. Interesting. Not really the same, but kind of the same. So I used to be an exercise science major. I switched my major so I wouldn't have to take organic chemistry. Anyway, I knew a lot about like working out and stuff. And when you start to work out doing like resistance training, people gain a lot of strength initially. And it has nothing to do with like their muscles getting better or hypertrophy or anything like that. It's because their brains are getting better at utilizing the muscles. So you have what's called motor units and stuff like that. So your brain is recruiting more muscles that it could have been doing before. But anyway, your brain is training your muscles to work better. So, hey, we got someone else from Paris. Manu. Next tier up from a T9 Pro for an amp DAC with a remote. That would have to be the AL200 from SMSL. Highly recommend. And it's not that much more expensive. I think it's maybe $200. So I think that T9 Pro is like $130, maybe, depending upon what sales are going on. Yeah, the AL200, I believe it is spectacular. Very good. Very surprised. And then you can get the, I think, D300s, I believe. A300s. Same amp chip, but you can bridge it and everything, even though it doesn't bridge very easily. Linton 85, John D, JD. I think I did that last year. That's why they weren't included this year. But they're excellent speaker. I love them a lot. Actually, no, wait a minute. I'm walking that back. I've never listened to the 85s. I've listened to the Linton or the... All right, I'm getting all screwed up. I was thinking Dayton. So Linton, I don't know if I've listened to the 85th. I have a pair upstairs, but I don't know if they're the 85th edition. And I did that last year. So it was only speakers that I did this year. Would very much like to try the KEF R3 Meta. I would love to try the KEF R3 Meta. I've never gotten one thing from KEF. I've never talked to anybody from KEF. Hey, Randy, excited for the Fozzy ZA3. That video, my friends, is coming out tomorrow. I'll leave it at that. So, I mean, everybody here is probably subscribed anyway, so... Anyway, enjoyed your review of the Arundel speaker. It's on my list. Any thoughts on KEF R3 Meta? My choice may be between the R3 and the Arundel. I haven't heard them. I would love to, though. I'd love to hear them. All right. Let's see if I missed any super chats. I have not. Hey, look at Charlie Puzo. Your thoughts on earth grounds for speakers, amps? I've never really looked into it. I don't have any experience with it. So... I mean, if it's not too expensive, it's probably a good thing. I know from my time out in the oil field, we did earth grounds on everything, I think. Hey, Tulsa Tony, $10. Thank you, my friend. I really appreciate you. Another long time patron. Guessing you have previewed the new Emotiva line. Thoughts? I have not. I may be able to, but I have not previewed them. I mean, I've known about it for a while, and I couldn't say anything. But yeah. Are there such a thing as good in-ceiling speakers? Well, yes, but you have to compare them to other in-ceiling speakers. I don't think an in-ceiling speaker is ever going to sound as good as a box speaker, but for stuff like Atmos or surrounds, I think you're good. Emotiva makes an in-ceiling speaker. Fred Cook, hit the likes. for the channel. Yes, please. Hit the like button. Up thumb this. Thumb it up. What amp do you recommend to drive Klipsch Heresy? They're super efficient, but I know, I mean, I had the Heresy for a very limited amount of time. I can't even remember what amp I had on there. If they're anything like the Cornwall 3s, the irony is that they like a lot of power. Personally, for me, I always thought they sounded the best on solid state. So, you know, on paper, you could use tubes for them because they are more efficient. I don't like tubes. I think those big woofers need some control, some juice, some power. So I would put something on there that's solid state. Merry Christmas, John Brender. Thank you so much. John is another patron. Thank you very much, my friend. Can you convince Emotiva to come to Expona again next year, please? That is not up to me, my friend. I have heard that they are doing their own thing this year or next year. Sorry. Around the time Expona is going to happen. So Emotiva is a cool company. I mean, they're like big enough that they don't have to do Expona if they don't want to. What are your thoughts on the OSD black amplifiers? I haven't had any in. I've seen them at a show and they look like, you know, they have big toroidal transformers in there. I think by all indications, they're probably pretty good. You know, Monoprice makes amps similar to OSD. I just got a new one in from Aperion. So it seems like there's been more like heavy duty, heftier amps that have toroids in them. So I think there's some outfit overseas that's making some really good ones and then making them for multiple people. Thoughts on ELAC debut 5.2 versus Denton 80th anniversary. I don't have the 5.2s in here anymore. I have the Dentons are up there somewhere. I couldn't tell you. I just busted out the Unified 2.0s though. So I've been enjoying those. That's what I have on the ZA3s from Fozzy right now because it's a really hard to drive speaker. So I figured I'd put a hard to drive speaker on there, see how the amps did. Just purchased another pair of Dayton Audio B652-Air. Found that they have a resistor on the tweeter. Did they always have that? Let's see. I thought they had a cap on the tweeter. I didn't know they had a resistor. So the cap is a first order crossover. I always knew that they had one of those on there. If they have a resistor on there, it's not a bad thing at all. Actually, it's probably a good thing because a resistor will decrease the efficiency of the tweeter and get it more in line with the efficiency of the woofer. So it's basically a part of a crossover. So second order crossover would be, let me think of this, a cap with an inductor to ground. And then a lot of times people will put a resistor either in front or after the cap. But just a capacitor is a first order crossover. Favorite color? I don't know if I have one. I guess it would be black. I always wear black t-shirts. Thoughts on Yamaha RN800 receivers? The only Yamahas I've had in here are the AS301, 701, maybe the 801. They're all good. Very clean sounding. I don't know the RN800 receivers, though. Hey, from, I don't even know how to say it, Deutschland? I love my WiiM, enjoying music on my Dynaudio Contour 1.3. Merry Christmas, everybody. Merry Christmas to you. Kaylee, 1233 423. Join some 0-calorie root beer. Oh, look at that. Ed Holman smashing it out of the park. $20. Merry Christmas, MF friend. We could there's a joke in here, and the funny joke is that there's another creator that called me the cheap audio effer, and I think it's funny. That made me think of MF friend. I get it. That's what I figured. Look at you. You just misspelled my, and then now you misspelled friend. I love it. Say something again and misspell it, Ed. Thank you, Ed, so much for the $20. You are awesome. If it's a resistor, then yeah, it's there to squish the efficiency down on the tweeter. Probably a good thing. Crazy keyboard. Have you tried the tannoys? I haven't had any tannoys in here. Tannoys, I heard they're decent, but wondered your thoughts. Yeah, I haven't had any in here. I'm not going to read that, but that's funny. There we go. Black is not a color. All right. Well, it kind of is. I mean, technically, maybe not. It's the absence of color. But when I go pick out a t-shirt, under color, I select black. So, while the definition of black may be an absence of color, I don't think there's any true black. So, I'll just go by what it says. Do you think Polk AR700 better all around than Klipsch 8000? I think, yeah. But let me put a caveat on that. I think if you're going by like frequency response, then the R700 is going to be better than the 8000. But if you're after the Klipsch sound and fun, then the 8000 could be way better than the R700. So it depends on what you're looking for. Yeah, I mean, that's probably the best answer I can give you. I think the R700 will probably have a flatter frequency response, but if you love the Klipsch, then it doesn't matter. Like, you can be unapologetically in favor of the Klipsch. That's the thing. There's better speakers, but they're better for you personally. So it depends on what you like. Like, someone could tell you that this is better than the other, but it doesn't matter. What matters is what you like. Black is a crown color. Very, very true. What's the best speaker you've heard without considering the price? Well, the best neutral speaker I've heard is the Arundel 1723 Monitor S. Spectacular speaker. Big, expensive. $2,049. But that's a neutral speaker, right? So that's I think a lot of people would consider neutral speakers to be the best sounding speaker. I don't particularly like my favorite speakers that I've had in aren't necessarily neutral. So, but if that answers your question, I really like the B2 Plus from Emotiva. They're no longer available, but they were available. I think they were $500 retail, and then I think they went down to like $360 or $370. You're welcome. Okay. Okay, you like the Dayton audio better than the... Oh, maybe I haven't had the B452 Air. Has better clarity. I've had one of them in. Loved your review on the Cornwall 3. While I was saving up for a pair, came across Chorus 2. And wow, thanks for your reviews. Have picked up most of my gear, IEMA's WiiM or Relic. Thanks to you. Thank you, Mike Osmond, very much for the kind words. Thoughts on in-wall speakers and subs? I think for home theater they're fine. I think for music, like you have to understand, like the enclosure is as much a part of the sound as the drivers or the crossover or anything else. So when you don't have an enclosure, or you have one that is basically a tiny enclosure that you put in wall, they're probably awesome for home theater. Well, I can't say they're probably awesome. I don't have enough experience to be able to accurately answer that question. I know if I'm designing a home theater from scratch, I might put in ceiling Atmos channels. That would be it. Everything else would be within its own enclosure. Good step up from the ELAC Unify reference. I have the NID T778 source. ELAC Unify reference. The funny thing is, I like the Unify 2.0 better than the Unify reference. I thought the reference were a little bit rolled off on top. It's a good speaker, and if you like that sound of speaker, I don't know. I mean, Unify references, they started at $1,000 and then they went up to $1,200. The Arundel's probably a good step up. The PMC Prodigy 1 is going to be a big step up from a top end perspective. If you're wanting something that sounds similar, though, I don't know. I don't know of like a maybe the Linton. Linton, I think, is a step up from the Unify reference. Similar sonic response. I think better imaging. Play bigger too. If I had $2,000 to spend, I'd be looking at the Arundel's. I'd be looking at the PMC Prodigy 1s. Maybe the P300s from Buchard. Those what I would be looking at. But the Unify reference, if you like the tonality, is a very good speaker. Here we go. Diamond 12.4 versus Focal Cora 826. I don't think I've heard the 826. But the Focals that I have heard had a similar sonic characteristic or vibe as like the B&W speakers. And that's not really my jam. They sound good for a while, but after that, they don't. 12.4 is surprisingly agile on the top end. And punch, beautiful. It's a really good speaker. And that's why it was Speaker of the Year under $1,000. Which is cool because it went on sale, right? So it wouldn't have won had it not gone on sale. From Russia with love. Well, thank you. Thank you for your reviews. Thank you for the kind note. New Emotiva B2 Plus has flat front with no angled edges. Shipping to warehouse soon. New website info early 2024. Yeah, I need to get on the horn with that. I briefly talked to them about it, and they were asking me, what I wanted. I said, I want it all. I want to hear them all. So anyway, don't laugh, but I'm thinking about adding a cassette deck. New model though too risky on old head ones. Is TX still good? Costly. Dude, I'm not laughing. I think it's fun. Like whatever you like and whatever brings you joy. Yeah, cassette deck. I've got one right up there that I continue just to like kick the can down the road as far as like doing a once over, cleaning the heads and everything like that. But don't apologize. Yeah, there's not a lot of new ones out there. The funny thing is, I think there is a new Marantz that you can buy that is somewhat affordable. There's a channel out there that gets a lot of views, and they legit almost only talk about cassettes. And that's how I learned about this Marantz. So search on YouTube, new cassette deck Marantz. And I bet that video pops up. And I think it was $300 or something like that. Dennis Beasley, $5. Thank you so much. You are awesome. I've been loving the 12.4s. This is how much I love the 12.4s. I want to put them back up. And this is with me having multiple speakers in line to go up in my living room. I love the 12.4s so much, I want to put them back up. So that's how much I like that speaker. There's only a few speakers that have had that feeling of. So 12.4s is one of those speakers. Arundel's one of those speakers because I had to take the Arundel's down and I wanted to put them back up. They're back up right now, but I need to take them down because I have to do my job. So Diamond 12.4s, Arundel's, and then the Q Acoustics 5040s, I think, which I actually do get to put back up because I got their center speaker and I need to do a review or a video on the center speaker. So I love the 12 point. It just amazes me how good those speakers are for $750. And they're finished really well too. Just great. Great, great, great. My throat has been scratchy. Like I need to start learning how to like breathe from my diaphragm because my voice has been going out. I guess I've been doing more videos or something. So I need to learn like how to breathe like a singer breathes because I get scratchy in my throat now. Have you heard the PMC 25221s that are brilliant? Also, you should try and get a hold of the Revival Audio something 3. They are guys who left Focal and set up themselves, and they are great. I haven't heard any other PMCs. The Prodigy ones are the only PMCs I've ever heard. But I would like to. For sure. Have you considered reviewing the Magnapan LRS? They're sub $1,000 USD if you can get a hold of a pair. They're in high demand. I have. Actually, I was in Oregon, and a friend of mine and I stopped in a secondhand hi-fi store, and they happen to have a pair of LRS Gen 1, pristine condition. I think they were only $400. And I told him, if I lived here, I would be walking out of the store with those. And he ended up walking out of the store with those and an SVS subwoofer, both of which were very reasonably priced. So I think there is a future review. I'm going to have to buy them though, because I don't think the Magnapan guy sends anything out. He's an older gent. But yeah, I think definitely there's going to be some Magnapans in here in the future. It's so weird though. Like you just can't go online and order them. You have to fill out like a survey to order those speakers. Merry Christmas. Stay cheap, my man. Thank you. J. David Simpson, 1999. That was very, very generous of you. I hope you have great I hope everybody has a great holiday. I watched Scrooged last night. Bill Murray, great movie. Still holds up today because they had all practical effects. Wonderful movie, Scrooged. It's great. I also watched. I love holiday movies. I also watched Violent Night. I didn't finish it. I've seen it before. It's really good. Think like Die Hard meets Santa Claus meets John Wick. And that's what Violent Night is. Wonderful film. Absolutely wonderful. Hey, Randy, do you isolation of any kind for sub and speakers? Speakers, yes. If they're on a console, definitely. I have ISO acoustics, little stands. Sub, no, because they're on carpet. Just ordered these SVS sound path for my new SB 3000. Curious what you use. Thanks. That's what I use. If you're on like wood floors though, like if I was on wood floors, I probably would use something, but I'm on carpet. So I don't use anything for the sub. Speakers, absolutely yes. If I've got speakers on a desk or speakers on a console, the ISO acoustic is what I use. I think there's some more affordable options out there, but I have the ISO acoustics. It makes a difference too, for sure. Scrooge, did you spot Miles Davis in it? I didn't. Hey, Gray Wolf from Atlanta. I told the salesman that the Mark 442T speakers might benefit from the AMT tweeter, and he agreed. Very cool. Ramon Delgado, my man. $5. Thank you. Good afternoon. I have the Diamond 12.0. Let them break in with the Emotiva TA100, Emotiva SE8, WiiM Pro, SMSL SU1. Killer setup. Sounds like a killer setup. I love the 12.4s. What up? Did you decide on the Florida International Audio Expo? Yeah, plans are I'm going to attend. I don't know. There's a bunch of travel opportunities for me next year and really in the first like half of the year. So I'm going to have to pick and choose. But I've got some good friends in Florida that I want to see. I haven't been to that show, so I'm going to do my best. The problem is I don't think I'm going to be able to stay the length of the shows anymore. So when I do travel to them, I think I'm only going to be able to do maybe 1 or 1.5 days at each show now, to whereas I would go for the entirety of the show in the past. But it just kills my productivity. People don't watch coverage of the shows as much as my other videos. And then I have to edit on the road. So for every day that I'm traveling, I lose like 2, if not 3 days of work if I was just here in the studio, which is my office. Yeah. Anyway. But yes, I absolutely plan on being at the Florida show. How long? I don't know. And Scrooge Miles can be seen playing with David Sanborn and Paul Schaefer. I didn't see Paul Schaefer in that either. I watched it last night when I was pretty tired. So I'll have to go back and check it out. You know what's funny is like the end of that movie, he's doing kind of like the self-reflection and everything's great. And he jumped in on the live broadcast. And he goes on and on and on. And I'm thinking to like, everybody's like, oh yeah, this is great. I'm like, this is the ramblings of a crazy man. Like it was okay for a few minutes, but then he kept going on. Then he started singing. Like there's no way. I mean, that obviously that's not it. We have to suspend belief sometimes when we watch movies. Anyway, I thought it was very good. Happy Christmas from Ireland. Happy Christmas to you, CK. A pair of first-gen Paradigm Paradigm. I replaced the surrounds. They sound great. I liked it. I had Paradigm. Can't remember which Adams they have. I love my WiiM Pro. I love my WiiM Pro. I gave away my WiiM Pro Plus, and I regret it because there's a lot of applications that I want to have the better DAC in. Totally regret giving away the Pro Plus. But I have 3 WiiM Pros, 2 WiiM amps, and then 2 WiiM Minis. Although I think it's only 1 WiiM Mini because I gave one away to a friend. Quick question. Can you use 2 Fozzy amps to push 1 subwoofer? If yes, how do you connect it? No. You cannot. And I'm assuming you have a passive subwoofer. So, no, you can't do that. No. Cannot do it. But, I mean, there's a bunch of new products out there that are mono. Pretty high wattage mono. So you have this, which is the IEMA A07 Max. And you can do mono out on this one. The new Fozzy Audio ZA3 is coming out tomorrow. Mono, put a 48 volt power supply on it. And actually, I think the Fozzy has like a 2 ohm rating, so it would be really good. You know, it'd be interesting. So bear with me. Now that would wire it to a 1 ohm. You could get a car subwoofer. All right, just bear with me. Car subwoofer, a dual voice coil car subwoofer, and if you got a 4 ohm, you could wire it in parallel and get a 2 ohm load, I think. Yes. So you could wire a dual voice coil car subwoofer parallel, get a 2 ohm load, and then put that in a box. That'd be fun. That would be a fun project, actually, because I don't think car subs are that expensive. Anyway. Wait. So this Scrooge movie has gung fu fighting like in John Wick? No. Violent Night. Violent Night has kung fu fighting like in John Wick. Spectacular film. I think it's streaming on Amazon Prime. Violent Night. Like Silent Night. Violent Night. Could not recommend it more. I don't mind you hitting me, Frank, but take it easy on the Bacardi. It's such a good movie. I'm going to have to watch it again. It's such a good movie. It's so funny. That movie is so funny. I just bought a used Denon POA 22. Whenever I see, I thought POS, but POA 2200 for $200. Any thoughts on this amp? I don't know it. I haven't heard that one. But I'm sure it's for $200. I mean, I'm sure it's well worth the price. They can be, depending on the subwoofer. Any plans to check out the Ascend Acoustic Sierra 2 EX-V2 on their ELX tower? A lot of letters in there. No plans, but I'm definitely not opposed to it. So I like Ascend Acoustics. I think they fly under the radar. Very good speakers. One of my patrons liked them so much that he bought a pair and sent them to me. Bought 2-time 8S sealed box monoprice amp. Sounds great. Very cool. I think that's going to be a fun project. I'm going to write that down. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to buy a car sub. Maybe even like a car sub enclosure. And then put it on one of these new Fozzy or AIMA amps and see how it sounds. There's some other amps too. I don't think they're very high power though that have crossovers. So that's the problem with my little setup here is the amps don't have a crossover on. I know there's some amps out there that do have crossovers, but I don't think they're as juicy on a power standpoint than the Fozzy and the AIMA. Car sub plus Fozzy / AIMA. This pen's going dry. Anyway, all right. Build your own enclosure. I know, Tony. I would love to. Number one, I'm terrible at woodworking. This is how I used to build speaker enclosures. I would cut one side to length, and then instead of being able to cut another side to length, I would just take that one, put it on the table saw, and just put the blade all the way against it, and then run them both through at the same time so they're both the same size. I'm not good at woodworking. I'm not good at using tools either, or woodworking tools. I did buy a miter saw, so I have a miter saw. I have a table saw. It's not a very good table saw, though. So you'd think I'd be able to make an enclosure, but I'm not in practice. Use the sub calculator online. It was cool is that most of those car subs, they just tell you like, here's ported enclosure size you need. Here's a vented enclosure. I take my 12-inch Rockford sub out of my car during DJ gigs and use a Crown 50. Perfect. You know what? I just gave my drive core away. Crown 1502 drive core to power. It has a built-in EQ. That's perfect application for the Crown drive core, and I completely regret giving mine away now. I just did a huge clean out of the office, and so everything that I haven't used, like in the past year, like if I haven't used it in a year, it went. So, one of the benefits of being a patron of mine is There's a ton of stuff on the Discord channel right now that's being divvied up by another patron. They tell you minimum airspace needed for sealed enclosure. I like this idea more and more. Mark, I agree. Came home to my son cranking up Metallica yesterday. I was like, who taught you that? And he said, I learned it by watching you. So proud. Very nice. Very nice. Look at Ian. Erwin. Yeah, you could 3D print an enclosure. Yeah, I could if I had a 3D printer or knew how to actually use the 3D printer. Neither of which I do have or know how to use, so make it the old-fashioned way. Out of MDF and inhale all the MDF. I think that's going to be a fun project. Any chance to check out a Klipsch DACs or DDCs for budget gear? I bought the small DDC for $170. Pretty good. DACs they have, you can change the op amps. Cool. I haven't even heard of them, but yeah, I'd definitely not be opposed to it. I'm using it on a 10-inch dual voice coil DB drive subwoofer in a vented box. This is a fun project. I'm getting excited about it. My second live stream from the Philippines. Thank you so much for joining. What time different? It's 2:30 in the afternoon here. Wishing you and your family a Merry Christmas. Same to you, Jim. And a Happy New Year. Thanks for being a guide on my audio journey. You're welcome. Listen, we're all trudging the road of happy audiophile destiny together. So there's going to be bumps along the road, but we're going to do it together. Trudge, trudge, trudge. Anyway, dude, it will sound awesome. I can't wait. The only thing is, like, it's like a low pass filter. That's the only kind of hiccup in this whole deal. Yes, we could use DSP, mini DSP. I get it. I don't want to do that though. I want to do something simple. But these amps don't have it. Crown amps do, but they're expensive. Anyway, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. That's awesome, Brian. You and Martin, Christmas came early. Yeah, Martin's great, man. He's been helping out a ton. Best project is 2x10S or 2x12S. So that's what I had. I had two dual voice coil 4 ohm subs, two 12-inch. Actually, they're still in my son's. Well, so I had a Toyota Sequoia. It was old when I had it, and then I gifted it to my son, who has in turn gifted it to a friend. So they're still in there. They're two kicker 12-inch dual voice coil subs. I wired them in parallel all the way down to 1 ohm. And so they have an Alpine amp on there, like a crazy, I can't even remember how many watts. But anyway, that thing kicked hard. It was so much fun. And I had them in a ported enclosure, but it was kind of the wrong size. So I ended up just sealing off the port, and then they sounded pretty good. Yeah. Wired down to 1 ohm. Check the AO7 Max webpage and said the aux out is variable for subs. Have you tested? No, I haven't tested. I have not tested. Usually when they say aux out, though, it's not variable. But if you use the amp, I got a set. If you control the volume through something upstream, it doesn't really matter, I don't think. There's a free website that lets you select the car subwoofer that you buy and gives you endless optimized box plans based on volume and port tuning. It's cool. These car audio guys like know way more. Like the funny thing about it is like we marvel at like transmission line speakers, and like even the most modest car audio enthusiast like knows, oh yeah, that's how you do that. Like they've been building like enclosures. Like if anybody knows bass, it's like car audio guys. And they've been doing it for a long time. They make incredibly intricate and complicated enclosures. It's funny that we never like talk about or talk to the audio guys or the car audio guys about like, because you could legit like, okay, I have a problem. I don't have a ton of space. Here's the amount of space I do have. Lob that info over to some car audio subwoofer guru and they'll be like, oh yeah, here's the plans for your custom enclosure that you can put. I think that it's so funny. We need to give the car audio guys some more love. Crutchfield has online guide. How to. All right. Douglas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you. I use the sub box for home theater. Very nice. Keep cheap car audio guy. The problem is like, number one, I don't have a vehicle anymore that would lend itself to like car audio. Number two, I just don't know enough. Like if you were to talk to 16-year-old Randy, I was on the cutting edge of car audio in 1992. But it's not 92 anymore. And you can't just pull out a single din or double din stereo out of your car anymore. All right. Finn Wanderwall. Can someone help me with some questions? Certainly, Finn. What can I do for you? What do you need? True dedicated car audio guys drive McLaren Speedtails so they could have centers. That's right. Room treatment used to be roll down the windows and turn it up. Very nice. Yeah, and here's the thing. Like, you didn't need high-res music because there's like 60 or 75 dB of road noise coming in. So you didn't have to worry about the details. That was the beauty of car audio. Doesn't matter. MP3, high-res, none of it matters. Building the CSS Audio Tori kit this week. What amplifier will be recommended? Is the A07 Max sufficient or any other in this price range? No, A07 Max should do you just fine. Look at the Fozzy ZA3 too. The ZA3, I think I have one. No, I haven't plugged back in. ZA3, lot larger footprint. I think probably like going to do a better job of heat dissipation. I could not get the ZA3 hot, and I was running them hard. The A07 Max, a lot smaller footprint. Still has good cooling for sure. But I don't think the A07 Max is readily available right now. I think they're all sold out. I think they had a very positive response to that amp. And they should. It's a very good amplifier. Sony ES car speakers are said to be amazing expensive, though. The ones that are in my Toyota Sequoia, that's not my Toyota Sequoia anymore, actually had Focal speakers in there. Oh, no, I take that back. I had Focal speakers in my Explorer. I have Polk speakers in the Sequoia. Factory car amps are usually enough for me these days. Yeah, like I have a Mazda and it's got the Bose system. Sounds great. Sounds awesome. But there's so much DSP going on in there. But it sometimes is a little bit spicy in the upper mid-range, but I think everything's too spicy in the upper mid-range. But it like varies different frequencies depending upon if you have your window open, or there's all sorts of stuff. Yeah. I agree with you on that. I just think it's a shame that there's not a lot of options to upgrade car stereos anymore. Outside of DSP. I actually put some DSP in my Explorer, used the factory head unit because I had to, and then brought some amps off that and did some other stuff. Just snagged this sick ARC subwoofer for $60. Very cool. My wife knows that I'm watching and yells out, "Is that Randy or Kevin?" She knows me. Too funny. Who's Kevin? Oh, here we go. Wharfdale 12.4, Q Acoustics 5040. Listen, no disrespect to the 12.4. I love them, but the 5040. Just a little bit cleaner, a little bit better bass clarity. I think the 12.4s punch harder, but I think the 5040s are a little bit better sonically. And I love the 12.4s. So that should tell you how much I love the 5040s. Oh, Skylab Audio. Yeah, Kevin. He's great. Got to run. See you next time. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you, Brian Romska. Thank you. All right. Hey, Randy, just wondering if you had a headphone amp and an integrated amp, what way would you wire that so you don't have to play with cables if you switch between headphones and speakers? All right, let me reread this. If you have a headphone amp and an integrated amp, which way would you wire so you don't have to play with cables? Well, the only way that you could integrate them together is if you had a preamp output on either the headphone amp or the integrated amp. Now, if you have one on the headphone amplifier, then you would run source and the headphone amplifier preamp out to integrated amp. And then you would control the volume on the headphone amp. If you have preamp outputs on the integrated amp, then you would go source, integrated amp, or if the integrated amp is your source, preamp out into the headphone amp. That's the only way it works. You have to have a preamp out on either of them. And then you can only control volume on one of them. So whatever your preamp outing of, that's where you want to control the volume. So you'd set the other volume and just leave it there. John Shepler, father of Rocktopus. Look at this, John. John Shepler, 3D printing extraordinaire, created father of Rocktopus. This one is in a nice, what do you call that? My daughters always call it. It's like when one color runs into the other. Tip of my tongue. Forgot it. You don't need to add a linear power supply. That's right. You got battery power, baby. Car audio, to make it bump is much less money than it used to be. Bought a Zapco AG650 back in 98, 9 years trouble-free, sold with car. Yeah, all the stuff that I put in, it just goes with the car. Like my Explorer was a company car, and so I upgraded the speakers and put some amps in there. Just left it. I'm like, I don't want to deal with this, so just left it. I need a road trip to Skylabs in 2024. There you go. Go up to Iowa. Have I been to the Skitter? No. I've been to the pop-up Skitters, though, in Corpus Christi. Best neutral headphones at or below $300. Easy answer. The Moondrop pairs. I think they're great. $300. You can look at Sundaras, too. I think they're around $300. You got good choices, man. I don't like dynamic driver headphones, though. Well, let me put it this way. I like planar magnetic headphones better than dynamic driver headphones, and I think at $300, they are way better. People will disagree with me. I get it. I'm just my personal preference. Ever tried Martin Logan? No, I haven't. I've heard them like at stores and stuff, but I've never tried them. Best detail monster speaker under $300. It's tough. You have to look at, well, you can't really get them anymore. The B1 Plus, I think, were under $300, and they're detail monsters. Honestly, if you want detail monster, you can get the Sony SSCS5s. Usually $120. They're more detailed than people think they are. Very good speaker. No, you're not a fan of powered bookshelf speakers, but I need a pair for my computer setup. Is a Kanto YU6 a good pair? The ones that I just had in here, I did a Kanto review. They were really good, little tiny ones. Kanto does a good job. You know who else makes a good powered speaker is U-Turn, of all people. It's a class AB. Now you have to have your own source because it's just an analog input. They sounded really good. And then there is an ELAC one that's out right now. Connects. I think it is fairly affordable. And then I just had another one in. I can't remember the other one. Ever experienced any tweeters that had a Lineum tweeter? Yes. I have a patron, Neil Blanchard, designed some speakers around it. Loves them. Going to visit Mom in West Des Moines. Can't wait to drive down to Valley Junction and visit Kevin. Very cool. ELAC equal $400. Yeah. In recent years, I've managed to go cheap with my car audio upgrades with speakers and passive components. There you go. Funny. I just got a winter hat from a gal who's brain. Man, you must be from the Midwest, gal. I'm from the Midwest. Whose brain is rockin' octopus. What? Warm and cool, all A1s. Very nice. Fluent sells powered speakers for $299. Yeah, not all powered speakers are created equally, though. I listened to a pair of their powered towers. Not very good. Keep up the good work, sir. I have to go now. Merry Christmas to everyone. Merry Christmas to you, Joe. Thank you. Oof. I had a splitting headache. Oh, you guys want to see something? Guys, gals, people. Check this out. It's so light, it feels like the box is empty. This is definitely not cheap audio. But there's something else. Wouldn't it be ironic if I held this up and like it fell and it broke? Check these out. Look at that. These are the, I think they're Empyrean 3? Empyrean, yeah. There you go. Really, really nice. Very nice. That's like high-end hi-fi in a box right there. You got to get an amplifier, though. Fancy audio, man. That's right. Listen, Meze sent me some very expensive. They sent me the Elites. That was a $4,000 headphone. They're good. Can the original J2, i.e. before socketed, be improved with a different power supply than the provided wall wart? Many people would say absolutely yes. When I say that to Gino from Gisele, he kind of goes, But yes, many people say yes. Meze Empyrean 2, $3,500 headphones. Yeah. Are those the twos and that's how much they cost? Yeah. Hey, Todd, listen, man. Someone says, I'm going to send you a $3,000 or $3,500 headphone. Would you listen to it? I'm going to say yes. Thoughts on being a guest on SVS Happy Hour? They discuss audio gear, and they do. I've been a guest. Jason Seegers. I think, so popular that they have not asked me back. Yes, I've been a guest on there. Actually, it was, I believe it was at a Expona. So I would say yes. So you need to talk to Nick and the folks over at SVS to see if they want to have me back on. But I was on there with the president and Nick and haven't been asked back. So I don't know what I did wrong or if I did anything wrong. How is that Talica turntable? Is it still your favorite? It's my favorite to look at. I think my actual favorite is this Michelle. What is it? Techno Deck. That's what it is. Michelle Techno Deck. So Metallica is definitely favorite one to look at. The Techno Deck is definitely my favorite one to listen to, but it's also very expensive too. Randy did an amazing job when he was a guest on SVS. I remember it because I was wearing my Seven Dust t-shirt. Using a big Klipsch RP setup right now, but thinking about switching to Kef. How's the Kef sound character? I don't know. You know, I don't think it's like too terribly divergent from Klipsch though. I think it's better mid-range probably than Klipsch, depending upon the speaker. Like a RP500M, well, that's the first gen. Here's the deal. I can't answer this question. I have experience with the first gen RPs. I've heard the second gen RP 600. I've heard the first gen RP 6000F. I've heard the Meta, what is it? Kef LS50 original, not the Meta. It's a long way to say I can't answer that question because I don't have any experience with any of the new stuff or enough experience with the new stuff. Ooh, here we go. Sony SSCS5 versus Kef 150. 150 probably. I mean, the Sonys are fun. Kef 150 is an actual pretty good speaker. If they're on sale, do not ever, Grey Wolf, pay retail for the Kef 150. I think there are about 300 or 350 on sale. So don't ever spend more than $350 on the 150. So yeah. All right. We're at an hour. I appreciate y'all. Have a great day. Big video coming out tomorrow. So make sure you watch the video tomorrow. It's going to be a really fun one. Big video coming out tomorrow. It's going to be awesome. Have a great, what is it, Tuesday? Yes, Tuesday. Have a great Tuesday. Love y'all. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Be safe. If I don't talk to you before the holiday, I will not talk to you before the holidays on the live stream. So enjoy your Christmas if you celebrate Christmas. Enjoy your Hanukkah if you're celebrating Hanukkah. Enjoy whatever holiday you celebrate. Enjoy your Festivus if you celebrate Festivus. I got a lot of problems with you people. It was the best. The airing of grievances. All right. Bye. You guys have a great one. Bye. 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 Bye.